Welcome back to Maymory, where I try to make an entire memory-based level in only 1 month. In today's video, I'll be continuing decorating the level, and so let's see what I made today and how I made it. Oh my god guys, isn't this insane? We're back with the Maymory level. And if you have a keen eye, then you can probably guess that I have done some stuff with this off camera. First thing that I did is at the very beginning of the level, I made this like bounce out thing right here, so you can see the camera bounces out, which I think was really funny. I don't remember if I added this wheel in the last episode, but I did add a wheel here, so yeah. But the coolest addition that I added was definitely the transition right here. Yeah, it feels really cool. It's like all of these arrows right here, which are like signaling that you're gonna get boosted up into this part. I think that's fire. But yeah, my plans for this episode is gonna be to decorate this wave, this UFO, this ship, and maybe even this robot part right here. I think that's probably possible. Yeah, you know what? Let's just start with the decoration. So as you can tell, the background for this is gonna be a purple-esque thing. Of course, I'm gonna take a bit more inspiration from Fallen Club with this. The main details that I used for this block design was some metallic blocks, which I love using, and some of these sort of clutterfunk blocks, but most people say that they're the 9 circles wave blocks, so I guess I'll call them that as well. I'd say this is definitely the simplest design in the level so far, and I think it'll stay as that for the rest of the level. And then on layer 4, I want to add some backing blocks. And again, I'll literally just copy the values of these backing blocks. Yeah, so kind of like this, I guess. It doesn't really look that good though, that's the problem. I might want to do the same thing as what Fallen Club does and like take a set of objects, let's say like this, and just give them all like their own group. I want all of them to like pulse to maybe like a white color, I guess. I think that's probably better, yeah. Maybe on like the same blocks where these metallic blocks are, I'll add some white blending glow to the top. Maybe not white blending, maybe make it be a new color, which will literally just copy the object color and make that be blending. Yeah, I like that. It's slightly different to like just white blending, and I think it looks a bit better. And then on layer 6, I want to add 3D to this. And sure, why not do the same exact 3D that I've done for literally every other, like, 3D in the level? Why not? You know what, I think the thing that can help this the most, if I just hue it a bit. Let's say just +7 hue. You know what, I looked away from the block design, and I looked back, and I'm happy with this. So, yeah, let's just put this on all of the other structures in this part right here. Pretty simple. Okay guys, we're back now after roughly an hour. You can see that I filled in all of the block design, and I also added this little block design right here. It's basically the same as these slopes, except I didn't use metallic blocks, and I used these 1.8 blocks instead of these, like, weird blocks. I think it still looks very cool, and I'm really liking the part so far. Definitely needs a lot more, but oh well. The next detail that I added were some ground spikes, which I tried to add some cool details to, but eventually decided that simplicity works best for these ground spikes. You know what, I might just want to keep the ground spikes as this, just to make them be pretty simple, you know. Like with the rest of the level, this will be very simple. Now let's move on to some air deco, cause why not? Cause I have some ideas for air deco, and that idea will literally just be like these objects, but just staggered kind of like this. I think that works, yeah. I don't really know what to add next. I can maybe add a spike design, but I'll probably do that afterwards. I'm doing like a lot of very rapid stuff right now, but hopefully it's fine. So I can use like these objects right here to just make like a pretty simple background, I guess. Yeah, like that. I then added some decently simple pulses, which kinda reminds you of a 9-circle effect, except not really. And then I just copy and pasted the spike design from an earlier part in the level. And you know what, I might want to add some like orb deco and portal deco later on, but I feel like for now, I think I'll just stay as this. Which means that the next part that I will do will be a UFO part, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I think this will be pretty cool to do. And I feel like a way to like section this off better, or just make this be a bit more smooth, this is probably just do like a bright pulse like this. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what I want to do with this part though. It'll be a lot of stuff because this will be yet another pretty long part of the level actually, so we'll see what I'll do for that. I might want to try to begin with like a background for this, and I know that most of the times I've tried that it hasn't really gone that well. But hopefully this time it'll go better. While I'm yet again failing to make a background for this level, I'll humbly ask you to please subscribe. I spent a lot of time on these videos, so any support would be highly appreciated. I also have memberships, so smash that join button for tons of cool perks. But let's get back to me decorating the memory level again. Oh, and screw this stupid background, bro. You know what, I don't think I'll worry about that right now. I might just want to do like block designs instead. So yeah, let's do a pretty simple block design. I can try to use like these objects, and I have some ideas for them. And then on layer 3, I'll add some like glow to this, where I'll do one type of glow for the top, which will literally just copy the background. Also be a half saturation, brighter, and on T2. I'll take another one, which will not have any saturation change, but will be hued slightly to the left. And then another one on the other side that will be slightly hued to the right. And then I think for this very inside right here, I'll probably do like a sort of gradient. So I'm tempted to make these be blending, and then make them be a bit more hued the further down they go. Like this, yeah, like that. Pretty decent. The rest of these details weren't really anything interesting, but I'd say this is probably the most detailed design of the entire level, and that's because I can easily copy-paste this throughout the part due to its straightforward structuring. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll be the block design done here as well. So again, let's just copy this throughout the part. Okay, block design is filled in. This was way less annoying to do, just because there was a lot of copy and paste during all of this. But oh well, we're back with this now, and yeah, let's see what will be the next thing that I'll do. So I think I'll hold off on the ground spikes for now, because instead I want to go on layer 5. And for some reason, I have no idea why, but I want to add some clouds to this. Just make it be like not saturated at all, and maybe just spam it a bit. And then maybe I can make a bigger and a smaller variation of this as well. And then I'll just, you know, add these throughout the parts, cause why not? And then for this background, I want to do something kind of interesting. Okay, I know this might be crazy, but I might want to use one of Wabu's building tips for this. Oh god. Just scale this object up like a lot. Just put this in the background and make it be like a very dark opacity. I don't know. It's a good beginning, but it definitely needs some more stuff to it. As you can see, I was not the biggest fan of this part, and these failed tries at adding more air deco did not help at all. But I got right back up on my feet, and so let's do a little lightning round. Ooh, I know something that could probably work, and I'm praying that it works. So in last episode, I added some like fire objects to the ground, and this time I want to try to add some like lightning objects to the top. So maybe use like this type of lightning object right here, make it be blending and also less saturated. Would it look better on T4 or on B5? Let's see. Okay, Okay, you know what? I think it already would look better on B5. Something that I forgot to add, by the way, was this glow overlay. I somehow forgot to add that. Yeah, that was what the part needed. Yeah. How could I forget that? Oh my god. I then made yet another set of generic ground spikes for the part. Only kinda noteworthy detail were that the spikes were a brighter color, but again, nothing pretty interesting here. Okay, so I added some pulses to this part, and it now feels way more alive. Like you can see, I went very wacko mode with these pulses, like pulses to red, green, purple, yellow, pink, so many different colors. Just look at this. Looks absolutely insane, especially this ending right here. Now this definitely needs some more stuff to it, like I can't just leave it like this with all these layout blocks hanging around. So I gotta come up with a block design for these thingos right here, and I have no idea what to do for those actually. I'm tempted to use like these blocks right here. I want to do like kind of an industrial design for this, and then on the layer above I'll use these construction objects again. Yeah, like that. And then I can add some like a glow to this, because why not? You know what? I think this can be the entire design. Something extremely simple, I know. But hey, I think it'll work. And funnily enough, I think I can just copy this thing only throughout the entire part. And that'll be the entirety of this block design complete, which is really funny. But I'll still skip over this because it is pretty boring to watch. Dude, this has to be one of my best club step monsters I've ever made. Oh my god. This guy looks so goofy with this one eye, his jagged mouth. What is he doing, bro? Bro. Oh my god. This stupid guy. I can't stop thinking about him. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this part. And now let's actually work on probably the most iconic part of the level, at least in my opinion, which will be this maze part right here. Oh my god, this is gonna be absolute chaos. So in the thumbnail for the second episode of this, I hinted to this part being like a grayish color, like a gray bluish color, pretty crowd control pilled type stuff. And I don't know if this exactly would work, but I want to do like a sort of spiral for the background. Only problem is, well, I have no idea how to make this. I know how to make a circle, but I don't know how to make like a spiral. Wait, I think I figured it out. I think I figured out how to make a spiral, guys. I think that'll be the final spiral, yeah. And sure, let's just make this be gigantic, why not? So I want this black one to be on B5, and I want this one to be T2, so that it kind of has like a sort of masking effect, kind of. After recording this, I realized that I subconsciously took some inspiration from Shimmer by Amplitron with this effect. Forgot to say that in the recording though, so just stating it here. I think this could work, yeah, I think it looks pretty neat so far. And the reason why I did that masking effect, by the way, is for the block design itself, which I'll begin with right now. I think I'll probably just do like some simple outlines for this to begin with. And then I want to kind of section this off in like different parts. So like some of this can use these objects, other parts can use these objects. But I'll make the detail be like a blending color and also be a bit brighter and B1. And I don't know if this would work, but it could be cool if I added some light blue glow to this. I think it works pretty well, at least. On layer 5, I gotta add the lovely black inner outlines though, because these are absolutely beautiful. I have no idea if it'll actually work, but I kind of want to combine like the less saturated glow with the blue glow. However, as I literally just said, I have no idea how this will actually work. And then I'll add 2 more details. One of them will be some of these objects right here. And then on layer 8, I'll add some 3D, and once again, I'm terribly sorry for this, but I am gonna copy the 3D from earlier in the level. So with this template right here, I'll just put this to the rest of like this structure right here, and then once I've finished with all of the decoration for this part, I'll just copy it over to this because it's literally just the exact same stuff. Okay, it's another day now. I think this is either the 2nd or the 3rd day. And as you can see, all the block design for at least this half of the ship part is complete. I'll do the second half once I've done the rest of the deco for this. Something cool that I did, which is kind of inspired by Cold Sweat actually, is on these pulses right here, you can see that the object lines kind of just bounce out in different directions. I just did that because it looks cool and it makes the part more confusing. I also tweaked around some colors, like you can see that these types of spirals that go above the blocks are actually a blue blending color. And yeah, I think this looks very, very nice so far. I'm really liking this actually. I feel like I want to do some ground spikes now, and for these ground spikes, I want to do a design that I used to do a whole lot before, but I don't really do it anymore, and that's using these objects right here. However, I'll make some bigger ones in the ground spikes as well. And just make like different chunks using these ground spikes right here. Then for these outlines, I guess I can just make it be the blue blending color. I'm really hoping that people will not notice how copy and paste this deco actually is. At least the ground spikes are copy and paste. I wouldn't really say that all of the other deco is that copy and paste. It's something, alright. That's all I can say, at least. I then added some antennas in the places where I couldn't add ground spikes, and to be honest, I actually really like this ground spike design, despite the main thing only being something that I've used a lot before. So, I don't know if this will exactly work, but it would be kind of funny if I just added some like random bricks, kind of like this. Probably just copy and paste this all throughout the part, just as some like very simple orb deco. No, not orb deco. Dude, even though I'm not sick anymore, still confused as hell to what I'm doing. I'm calling this stuff right here orb deco. What's wrong with me, man? No. I have a feeling, again, that this will probably be one of the more iconic parts of the level, since this part actually has like some pretty unique stuff to it. You can see like this part right here, kind of similar to Fallen Club. This part kind of similar to Fallen Club. This duel a bit more original, I guess. But this part, yeah, I don't think this is Fallen Club-esque. I then added some orb deco, but it turned out like shit, so I deleted it later on. But yeah, I'm really liking this, actually. I feel like I just want to add a bit more air deco, like, let's say I can add some like chains with like the white blending color and just add them to the bottom of some of these. But to be honest, even if it looks kind of messy and someone calls me out for it, I won't really care that much. You know what? I think the only thing that's needed for this left... Oh my god, I butchered that so badly. I think the final thing that's needed for this part is probably just some more complicated pulses, like some hue shifts and maybe like pulsing some individual parts of the blocks. Except for that, I feel like this entire part is complete, actually. I'm not the hugest fan of this UFO and wave part. They're decent, but not anything too insane. The transitions between these parts are also kind of messy, but what I'll do off camera, I'll like fix around these stuff and just kind of polish everything and change stuff that I don't want. Basically just fixing bugs and tweaking transitions, basically. But yeah, the final thing to do now is literally just add the names of the members of my channel to the parts. Special thanks to all of my lovely members: Destinity, Ghost Zan, RST621, Il Padre, Kafo, Felmix9, Rion FX, Sketchy GD, Strife GD, Kirby Axolal GMD, Riplook, Neo and Tix, Takane, No Life Cohen, Teaser, Laftek, PL Poo, Tap, Aryuzon, and Sippy Cup GD. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm pretty proud of this ship part, and I'm also decently proud of these parts right here. In the next and most likely final episode, I'll be, well, finishing this level, which is really cool. We're getting close to the end of May, which is kind of scary. I think I have roughly 8 days to finish this level. I think I'm able to do it though. If I put in the work and the hours, then I'll be able to finish this level definitely. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get to the final showcase of the level so far.